Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. We have our final guest of the night, Jim Sacchetti from Trinity Credit Solutions. Jim is a miracle worker. He takes people that have been very, very bad with their credit, and he cleans it all up and waves his magic wand, and cha-ching, suddenly you are mortgage eligible.
Sure, yeah, no, I wish it was only me. I wish I was that good now, but our team, definitely.
We will not make you give all of your trade secrets away for, the magic spell that you cast on the credit report and everything that you do. We can't have that happen. But how long have you been doing the credit repair, and how did you get into this?
We've been my business partner and I, Drew, we've been in the debt sector for probably, he's a little older than I am, but total probably like 25 years. Before we started Trinity, we were working with another debt settlement company. And the two went hand in hand, but we've been doing the credit repair exclusively for about 3.5 years now.
Nice. And how many clients do you think you come in contact with as a whole?
Yeah, no, I would say not enough. But no. Last year we touched about 3,600 people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So all from our realtor and mortgage loan officers, our referral partners.
Right. And we do some networking together, but I know that you are kind of a master networker. So tell everybody in the neighborhood, if they are a self-employed person who is not getting out to the public enough, again, don't give away your trade secrets.
Sure.
But what are some of your thought processes on how you get out there and shake hands and kiss babies?
Right, yeah, no, there's a meme out there and it says, stop begging people to support your business.
Yes.
Get out there and network. They're going to be your biggest supporters.
Sure.
And honestly, I wish there was, obviously I'm good with people and that definitely helps, but I've seen people who aren't good with people.
Yeah.
We know them, you know what I mean? We've discussed them.
We won't mention names on the air.
We won't, but it's a volume game, you know? Yesterday I went to breakfast and dinner for a networking thing. It's definitely a volume game. I also like to say that repetition leads to reputation.
Gotcha.
So if they see you all the time at networking events or on social media that you're at networking events, it leads you to, all right, well, he's still around.
Right.
He's still doing the things that he's doing.
He must be half decent if he's not out of business.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to show his face.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Which, when you're in the debt industry, that's one of the things that definitely helps out.
Yeah, and right now in the world we live in with the internet and all the stuff we have, it's a fairly transparent society. So if you sucked, everybody would know it.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. And especially, now we're branching out. You saw I was in Metuchen yesterday, which is North Jersey. But in terms of our sphere right now, South Jersey, Philadelphia, that's a very tight-knit community.
Right.
If we weren't doing what we said we were doing, I wouldn't be showing my, you know what I mean? We'd be in different parts of the country, but...
I have that list, by the way.
Right,
And
exactly.
the people that aren't doing the food, just in case.
Well, we'll talk about that later, but...
Santa's no-no list.
Right. People, that's the credit guy, don't go to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be... Last year I wouldn't have golfed 30 times, you know what I mean? Like if it wasn't that. And I wish it was, just volume, but we're actually helping people get mortgage ready, as we like to say. And it's one thing to, sell the sizzle, but you do at some point need to have the steak there.
If you can't deliver, it don't matter how wonderful...
personable I am.
Right.
Exactly.
Eventually...
the roosters come to roost or whatever it is. That's the other thing. Luckily, we've got processes in place now, and we're able to sort of fine tune the way we operate with our clients that, knock on wood, it seems to be working, you know what I mean? And it seems to be getting easier, and it's making our lives, even better. Yeah.
Nice. So, what you can't really give somebody, this is the secret, but if somebody says, I have really bad credit.
Mhm.
Can you give me 1 or 2 tips on things I should be doing every month, things I should be aware of every month to improve my bad credit?
All right.
Kind of paint with a broad brush, but.
Right. So if we could have, like, just the bullet points come up as I say them. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But, yeah, just number one. No. Honestly, most people, I think it was actually Chris, he had asked me, what's a good client for you? And I said, all right, well, let me tell you what a bad client is. Someone with their cards are maxed out, they've got late payments, they've got, recent late payments, and the last payment, is late. We hear the tow truck repoing the car as we're
Right.
talking to them. That's a cash problem, right? The 35% of your credit score is your balances. So, or 30%, it's 30 to 35%. You want to make sure that your balances are under 30% of your available credit.
Of your limit.
There's been so many times I've spoken to just friends of mine who, hey, I have a credit problem, and I go, are your cards maxed out? Yeah, okay, well,
That's your problem.
that's the start of not being a credit problem, being a cash problem. Pay your bills on time. That's another thing. If, I don't know how many times we've had our clients go, oh, I missed a payment. Well, I don't care if you make the minimum. Obviously, we don't want you to just make the minimum, but you gotta make your payments on
Right,
time,
right.
And if you have some collection accounts, call them up and see what they negotiate for, and try
Right.
and work out a deletion agreement with them that, not one red penny goes to them unless they delete the account off of there. That's really the
Sure.
I wish, there's a lot more in depth than, that whole process could take months, what I just laid out
Right.
for people. But yeah, budget your money, make your payments on time. Those are the two main things, and don't overutilize your cards.
Now, one of the common misconceptions that I've heard people say is that all credit is the same. And then when I look at people's credit reports, you can have someone who's got 2 cars and 2 student loans, and for 7 years they haven't missed a payment or haven't been late. All that. They got 1 revolving debt, it's a $500 limit, they got $497 on the card, and they were late 30 days one time. That racks their score 100 points.
Oh yeah, I even knew someone, they had 7, 8 cards, all high limits for over a decade, you know what I mean? Amex, all the Amexes, the Chases, they missed 1 payment because they were switching banks and they had forgot to they set it up auto pay, just
Right.
zero out my account, I don't want pay any interest, which is great. But they relied on, the auto pay, and they were at an 830. It was the highest score I had seen from someone trying to deal with credit repair, and their score dropped down 110 points to a 720
Right.
from 1 late payment. And
One
they had
card.
called, made it, brought it back to the account back to 0. I think it was, they had put $100 on there on a $10,000 card.
Right.
And
A
110 points.
$17 payment was late because they missed it. Yep.
Now, luckily, we were able to get that removed through,
Your smooth talking.
Well, not even that. It's just, processes and hey, listen, I've been with you guys for over 15 years here. You've given me $15,000. Let's
Right.
knock this 1 late payment off
Right.
of there. And luckily, they did it. Amex is pretty good with that stuff,
Yeah.
because you got to have. At one point, you had to have good credit, and this person had great credit. But
Right.
yeah, like I said, we've seen 1. And then another thing that catches all 3 different bureaus can weigh a late
On their
or a
algorithm
negative
differently. Oh yeah, that's one thing. I understand that not every debt reports to every bureau. So you can have an 800 credit score Equifax and a 610 on TransUnion, because they might report, a lot of places report to TransUnion and not
Right.
to other things. But I've looked at people where it does report to everyone, and there's still a 50-point difference between the 3 scores, even though all the accounts report to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of them weigh some of it different. And
Oh yeah.
I used to work in the furniture industry, and I would get referrals from people who would be buying houses, and then after we closed on the mortgage, I would give them back to the furniture salesperson that referred it to me, and I pulled their credit, they're a 730 credit score, we just got done their mortgage, now they want to go buy a house, they go to Raymore and Flanagan to buy a house, and somehow they're a 605 credit score
Right.
on that algorithm that they're
Right.
using from Wells Fargo or Synchrony Bank to
Oh,
do
yeah.
their stuff.
And, you know, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm in the school of thought, just like with your taxes, you know, if everyone looked at the tax code, you know, the thousands of pages that
Right.
it is, they'd have no idea. I'm in the school of thought, they don't want you to know
Yeah.
how, like, there's no one that goes, okay, well, this is how this works, this is how no one knows that, it's all proprietary.
And it's even worse sometimes. Like I've gone to quite a few credit seminars and presentations, and I go to one and they're like, absolutely positively do this every time, and I go to the next one, they're like, never do this, and
Right.
it's the same thing.
Whoever
with
tells
that
you to do that is
They're
not
stupid.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
right.
what? The guy just said absolutely do that. You know, there's people that tell you, well, match your card all the way out and wait till the first day that it's due and pay it all the way down. And other people are like, do this and pay it every 10 days instead of 30 days because that shows your... And I don't think really...
Well, I mean, and then you look at like people, and I like Dave Ramsey. I love, you know, people budgeting, and
Sure.
you know, you should only buy something if you have the cash for
Right.
it. I do like that theory, but good luck doing that and trying to buy. No, Dave Ramsey said I don't need any revolving credit.
Right.
You know, I don't need installment loans. I closed out my student loans and paid them early. Okay,
Right.
well that's great, but how are you? That was 2 years ago. What's been going on since
Right.
then? You know what I mean? And unless you prove to someone that you know how to handle money, they're not going to do that. But
A lot of people say, "Oh, I buy everything cash," and then when you need to use your credit, you don't have credit, or you have a 610 credit score because you have one trade line that's
Yeah.
a car or something like that. No credit cards. I don't have any debt. Well, guess what? When you talk to really wealthy people, this is totally on another tangent.
Sure,
I'm not talking
sure.
about- When you talk to really wealthy people, all of them have debt. Most of them have a ton of debt. They use their debt well. They use their debt to make them money. They don't use their debt.
right, they get assets.
to
They're
draw
not, you know, oh, we're buying a car that's depreciating, you know, as we speak right now.
We're off the
That
map
isn't
here
a tax write-off for
on
the-
Mr. Mortgage.
Yeah, so sorry.
Yeah, that's
We're,
right.
we're getting into Mr. Robot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We got one question. The one personal question, we always do a different one every time. So you could pick any musician, present, past, to come to your house and play 2 songs. Who would it be, and what are the 2 songs?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's got to be the original, like Grateful Dead. You know what I mean, with Jerry and all of them.
I never would have guessed.
No, here we go. Here we go. The one time and then it would be Althea, which is one of my favorite it's from 1980,
Okay.
new Grateful Dead songs, and then they do a thing live where it's a mashup of 2 songs, Scarlet Begonias and Fire on the Mountain.
The only song I know is Touch of Grey from Grateful Dead.
And you want to know something interesting? People that are your age, you know, the elderly
I saw
people.
Grateful Dead a couple times. I was just so high, I don't remember anything.
Well,
I
you know
saw.
what? And
But
Jerry was
I didn't
probably
know the music.
just
I
as
only
high.
went there because everybody was partying.
I watched
Probably not Mr. Mortgage
my buddy-
etiquette right there, but
No, my buddy who got me into it, he's around your age too.
Yeah.
Who is a deadhead, but anyone that's his age or around your age, they're called touch heads because Touch of Grey
you're
was.
really a Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah, no,
okay.
yeah. But that was the Touch of Grey was the only song they ever had on MTV.
Right.
And that's what blew them up from, you know, doing RFK to, you know, selling out the veterans and stuff like that. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimbo, for
Thank
coming
you,
to the
man. That was
neighborhood.
actually good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week for Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.